If you've ever tried to get your team to use a new CRM or marketing technology or sales automation tool, you know that getting folks on the same page can be a challenge. Well, in this video, I'm going to show you a couple of tricks that we like to use with our clients who are adopting the HubSpot CRM technology for the first time or maybe getting more serious about it that will hopefully improve your adoption success. So one of the first things I like to do is set up a learning center. Now, a learning center is going to be the way to use a HubSpot dashboard and embed videos and resources in it. So instead of sending the users off the platform, it's actually going to be all in one place. So in this case, we've got a learning center. So if you're actually teaching your users to go over here and bookmark it, they can do that. Otherwise, here we've got lots of different dashboards, and I would star this as a learning center. So you can see we embedded HubSpot hack video. These are all the videos that we actually do with our clients and on our YouTube channel, but you could also embed other videos by using images, text, or video here, or this would be what we called external content. So here in this case, we just embedded a YouTube video. You might also embed a slide presentation that you did at your sales summit. So that would be step number one, is building a learning center just based on this dashboard functionality. All right, tip number two, getting everybody on the same page. So when you introduce a new CRM, actually getting everyone to understand the vernacular and the things that we use to describe the process, that can be a challenge. So there's no better way to do it than a definitions and stages dashboard. So we've actually got the entire dashboard here built out for how we define lead stages. We've got some helpful resources. We've got deal pipelines. In this particular example, we went ahead and embedded the buyer journey workshop diagram that we did. This you could actually expand if you needed it to be bigger. So let's say that we wanted to actually have it take up a lot more space. We're just going to drag this down here and we're going to make it a lot bigger, and we're going to give it some more breathing room. So that would be a way for you to use these dashboards. And then again, this one's called definitions and stages, and you might just reference that and have things on here that everybody needs to know. All right, tip number three is making sure that you ask for the right information and not too much information, and maybe only showcase the information that matters when it matters. So that's going to be in how you set up each object. And then when your users are inserting specific information about that object, you then showcase the information they need based on their input. So what I mean by that is, in this case, we've got deals set up here, and we can actually customize the deal, create deal form. So it's a best practice to actually standardize the way that the name shows up. But in this case, we've used what's called a conditional property. So a conditional property allows us to say, if they say they're from a referral in this field, then this pops up and then they fill this out. So instead of having just a laundry list of properties that are like not required, maybe required, we actually then surface the right information for them to complete those steps after they give us the one that prompts the next field. So that would be how to do that here on the edit deal form. So you can do that for contacts, you can do that for companies, for deals, basically any object. You can add conditional logic, and then you can also set default values like this one up here. So that's going to be tip number three. Now, user adoption tip number four is along the same lines of simply surfacing the information in the way that makes the most sense to the user inside of that contact record, deal record, company record, again, any object inside the system. So this is not uncommon for us to see. This is our test portal here. See a lot of information here on the left-hand side, and just continue to scroll on the right-hand side. Lots and lots of cards, lots of information here in the center. So we're definitely in an age where we have a lot of information, but too much information is actually not any more helpful than not enough information at all. So think about how your users and, let's say, different members of the sales team or marketing team might need to see information on the left. We can actually choose to have a specific field show up if in fact another field exists. So in this case, these are the different groups that happen to exist on a contact record. So let's look at that on the backside. So this is our default view, and these are all called cards on the backside here. So if I wanted to add a card, and let's say that my card is, I wanted to add a standard card here. I'm going to show a property list, and I only want this card to show up if in fact approved for samples is yes. So if approved for samples is yes, we're going to say sample detail, and then we're going to have our sample information come in here, and we have medicine samples, and then we would click on save. So what would happen is you can see that this information sample detail has this little logic piece. So now if I'm in a contact record, this only shows if the sample detail is yes. And so you don't have to worry about paging through lots and lots of information, going to find that. It simply shows up if it's there. If it isn't, it doesn't show up at all. So that's a really good cheat sheet here. Same thing with the cards on the right-hand side, and same thing with the activities in the center, choosing to surface the information that is most important to your users at the time that they need it. The other piece would be also helping folks understand that they can add additional properties here. So if they wanted to edit their card, they can do that just for them, not for everybody in the organization. So they can actually then make it a little bit more of their own. All right, the last quick tip here is going to be creating a cleanup dashboard. So there's a lot of different ways to do data cleanliness in the system. We're not going to cover about that here. This is more about user adoption and the impact of outdated information throughout the organization. So in this case, we've just got a couple of simple reports in this dashboard. We've got an overdue deals report, deals that are missing amounts, contacts with no activity for 2 weeks. So in any of these cases, we could actually use these quick filters here in HubSpot to be able to then surface quick owners. So if, let's say, the owner is known or the owner is any of myself. So if I wanted to see any of the information here in this dashboard that applies to me, I would then hit me, and then I've got 3 overdue deals. Looks like no deals are missing amounts, and then 42 of my contacts have not had activity or sales activity logged against their record for 2 weeks. Now, if I undid this and I looked at, let's just say I want to just look at the leads that are actually impacted here. So the life cycle stage is lead, and I want to see what this looks like and apply. So it looks like the contact with no activity for myself, I've got 14 people in that lead stage or life cycle stage that are missing activity. So this sort of dashboard makes it possible for everyone to go in and be empowered to look and see what needs their attention. If you cover this on a sales meeting, cover this on an adoption meeting, you can then quickly surface the stuff that needs attention at that time and hopefully continue to improve that understanding of why that's important. Because then again, the rest of the reports that reflect the positive activities such as deals created, revenue created, then make a lot more sense. So those are just a couple of quick tips to hopefully improve your adoption of HubSpot. There's a lot more situational things you can do relative to user reporting and whether folks are enabled or disabled, if their calendar's connected. We'll cover that maybe in some future videos. But if you have additional tips, head over to YouTube, drop us a comment and let us know what maybe a video you'd like to see from us next.